Hello everyone, welcome to my analysis for the FEH channel. So, 3 days ago I asked whether or not people would be interested in my thoughts about the banner, how I felt about the weekly banners, and so on and so forth. Here it is. A lot of people actually expressed wanting to see me cover the subject, so, well, here I am. So, first off, what happened with this FEH channel? We got Concert All. Now, Concert All is not something I've been able to touch quite yet. I still don't have the resource to build it. Oh well. It seems pretty harmless, pretty nice to have like quite a few songs. The only thing I would say is instead of making only like the basic song, I think this one is free. They should have given like one of your choice free. Yeah, preparation is free. They should have just given you one of them for free of your choosing, and then everything just jumps to 180 cost. But oh well. I also wish Disturbance and Augustria would be on there, but oh well. Now, outside of the whole Concert All, a lot of people were, actually, wait, that's not it. So, update for AR. This is just the quality of life. There's really nothing much to say about it. It's just depending on the season, it's going to be you're going to be able to have a defense team that rotates, and just be able to, you know, copy setups you've had before, so you can do minor improvement. That's cool, I guess. Personally, I just don't give a shit. AR to me is more or less a dead mode, so, well, not exactly a dead mode, just not a fun mode, I suppose. They've also, ironically enough, spoiled the fact that they nerfed a few maps, which is kind of ironic. That's the second time they're nerfing maps, right? And they still, for some reason, forget the fact that that's not the main issue about those maps. The main issues are certain specific units, and the fact that you can have like 2-3 Legendary Azura on one team. Why isn't that a hard limit of 1 dancer, but fucking Grand Conquest limits your dancer to 1 out of 20 units? Here you can have 5 dancer out of 6 unit, and apparently that's fine. I cannot make this shit up. I just can't make this shit up. Oh my god. So, yeah. Hero Merit change. I know a lot of people were like sad for me. Guys, it's fine. I don't give a shit about HM anymore. People were feeling bad for me because I have like 300 unit that used to be capped in HM and now they're not. Honestly, like I said, I don't care. If I do need the feathers, I'm going to be able to get an extra 300,000 feathers, I suppose. I've not been farming feathers for like 8 months, and clearly it just doesn't matter. Because even then, I'm still sitting on 200k feathers with literally nothing to spend it on except 4 copies of Mordecai and Brady if he does actually demote, which is fairly unlikely, sadly. If he does demote, however, hell yeah, you can be sure I'm going to plus 10 that boy. But other than that, all of this is just... I don't care. I really don't. This is the meat and potato of this entire thing. So, weekly banners. That is what you consider a sick thing. Now, Ira is getting her first banner in over a year, for example. That's kind of insane in itself. Luke is getting his second banner ever. I don't understand how it took this long, but, I mean, you know. Despite having, I think, a banner based on Panic Ploy. It was not featured on it, despite being the very first unit with Panic Ploy, but... So, whatever, right? Now, I did say I would like to talk about the rates, and frankly, let's get started, shall we? This right here is my spreadsheet when it comes down to calculating rates. You have seen the rates on my banner reviews. Those are rates I calculate here. As for the spreadsheet, I've made it myself. I don't know if it's available publicly, but I could make it, you know, public if people are interested enough about it to just experience with it. It's a bit annoying. It's a bit hard to understand how it works, but it's definitely going to be luck to only be able to be changed by myself. So the only way for you to actually make a copy would be to go in File and make a copy. Still, whatever, right? This is not what we're here for. So this is an Eurofest banner. One of the major things that decides the rates are, first off, the focus units. How many are there? A 6-man focus banner on launch, okay, on launch, had, trying to think, 1.53% chance of getting a 5-star out of red. Every other banner for like a 4-man banner was like 2.5% chance. This is how important the amount of unit on the banner are. It's not necessarily how many unit of the same color that matters, because that's absolute bullshit, okay? Hell, Chaz decided to humor me and actually give it a shot, and that was about a year ago, during the Clash of Thunderers, the Clash of Thunder voting gauntlet, I don't fucking remember. The banner with Lind and Olwen. And I basically told him, the rate don't matter, okay, my guy? It's not 3% separated in 4 characters. That's bullshit. Every character counts as 3%. He didn't believe me, then proceeded to pull 8 5-stars out of 100 orbs. Yeah. Lo and behold, you don't have a fraction of the chance. It's additive, okay? So, for example, this is an Eurofest banner, but say there was 0 here and 2 red here. So, you see that 4.289? Well, it's 4.11 now for individual, but you have 8.22% chance of getting a 5-star focus. So, yeah, you know. So the way this works is the unit is decided before the color. That's why you don't see green as much as you do red when you're summoning. That's why red is so abundant. That's why when I summon on the fucking legendary banner for legendary Hector, right, and I literally spend 300 out of the 1,200 orbs trying to get a green at all per circle, and I don't, for 300 orbs out of the 1,200 orbs I had. That's why. Because green doesn't have a whole lot of unit in its pools. Therefore, because there's not too many in there, it actually struggles to appear. And that's why I get pushed into red and then pull a 5-star I don't want and then want to kill myself. You get the idea. So that's why red appears as much, because there's so much red units. Though this is not on a new banner. On a new banner, for example, blue and red are very similar. That's why the rates for red and blue are actually very, very similar. It's just because, well, look at that. They have almost the same unit, so they have almost the same weight. That's why colorless has like a very solid rate for the 5-star, and like very low pity break chance because only 11 versus 21. So 3.32% of enough banner to 2% of enough banner. So, alright. That said, I just want to point out, let's just consider red units, right? So, red units. 4.289% of getting a focus 5-star. 3.768% of getting enough banner. Okay? As the numbers here suggest. Now, so far so good. That's about 8% chance of getting a 5-star. However, considering that's the best chance of not getting a 5-star compared to the other 3, if you're summoning green, blue, or colorless, you can imagine how infuriating if you don't have the actual circle is to go in red and only to get pity broke, right? Let's look at the weekly banner rates, shall we? So remember 4.289% for a focus. For 4% banner with 2% of banner, 4.527%. Oh! Wow, would you look at that? A lot better, isn't it, when you consider this? The off-banner rate is now 2.485%. Because guess what? 2% off-banner versus 3%. That's how huge it is. And because it's a 3-man banner, the fact that it's 4% versus 5%, it's still better odds because there's less unit on the banner. So not only do you have better odds than an Eurofest banner, your off-banner rate is lower. So you have less chance of getting pity-fisted. And to top it all off, this is based on the first weekly banner with 1 red, 1 blue, 1 green. But to top it all off, for this type of banner, you have still colorless you can go for. If you don't get any red for some reason, or any blue, or any green, you can go colorless. You don't have a focus there. That means you have 0% chance of getting a focus, plus the 1.4% chance of getting enough banner. So you only have 1.396% chance of getting pity-fisted. Let's compare this to Eurofest for a sec. 4.959% of getting a pity breaker. That is a focus. Plus 2.01% of getting, well, enough banner. So you have 7% chance, almost a 7% chance, of getting pity-fisted versus 1.4. Do you see the difference? It's 5 times more to your advantage if you don't get the right color to go colorless here. That's great. That's absolutely amazing. Because it means your pity rate will not get destroyed nearly as easily just because, oh, I didn't get the right colors. And that's very welcomed. It is not nearly as advantageous for red-blue colorless banners, but it's still fairly decent. So overall, those are just better Hero Fest banner, and you're getting a new one every week. That's kind of insane, isn't it? It's like getting 20 tickets for Hero Fest. It's just over the period of basically 5 months. So, what are the best pick? Well, if it comes down to units that you should be aiming for, obviously, I'm just going to talk about fodder first. Nephany for Wrath, Hector for DC, Brave Ike for Steady Breath, sorry. Who else? There's Amelia for March on week 10 and week 18. Flashing Blade on Mia if you think that's actually relevant. It is relevant for foddering Marita if you do want to fodder her, which obviously you shouldn't, but Say you want to fodder her for Flashing Blade 4 and null follow-up at once, this is the way to do it. Because you can just get Flashing Blade 3 through Mia, and then later on, with Marita, give Flashing Blade 4, null follow-up 1, 2, 3. Other than this, fodder-wise, that's kind of it. Those are the main ones. If it comes down to units, however, oh boy, do I have a surprise for you. There are so many good units here. Celica is one of the best red mage tome of this game. Nephany is one of the best armor killers of this game. Don't even need the dude to make her worth using. Hector is honestly outdated to hell, so don't go for him as a unit, but go for him for fodder. Brave Ike is fairly decent also. Brave Lucina is still a fairly decent boosting unit. Kind of surprised our weapon did not get refined with Brave Roy yet. Oh well. Inoka for own flyers I suppose is a thing, but considering, you know, we have a own flyer Tempestral unit, it's kind of not really worth it. Oh yeah, you also have Jenny for Raffle Staff. So, yeah, that's also pretty good fodder. Alm is a really solid unit, especially in the meta we are in right now. Dragons are always a threat. Though Naga did undermine the dragon effectiveness somewhat. The holy grail of this whole bunch of unit, Ira, very strong unit. Very strong unit. Actually underrated unit, which is honestly very strange to me. I don't understand why people still consider her to be not even S+ tier material. Ira has some of the dumbest player phase potential and enemy phase potential when it comes down to straight up damage. She is absolutely retarded. Like I don't even know what to say. She is a really strong character. And if you don't believe me, well, what does this look like to you? This Hector was +6. That was after I killed 2 other units on that team. He's on the death tile. He's a blue armored unit. He has a Stian counter. I don't give a shit. I still kill him with a red unit. This is Ira, my boy. Ira is ridiculously strong. Wrath plus Slaying Edge is what you should always be using on her. I don't understand why most people still use Slaying Edge, not Slaying Edge, but Ira's Blade. I guess that's why most people consider her to not be nearly as good as she is. Because people don't even know what a good weapon is, or just don't even give it a shot. The point is, Slaying Edge makes it a 1 cooldown skill. Wrath instant charges it at the start of every turn, which makes it extremely easy to just chain by just attacking, proccing it, getting hit and proccing it again. The only real hard counter you have against Ira becomes skills such as Special Fighter, Guard, and Witchy Wand. If you don't have any of these, you are fucked. That's how strong she is. She is extremely reliant on specials, so there's that. But even if she is reliant on specials, you can still take damage. Raph will get your spec ready and then just one-shot anyway, unless it's green, unless it's blue, sorry. And if it's blue, then of course it becomes a lot harder. This set I was using there was Raph with double Brazen. So, you know, there's a reason why a lot of unit uses Ira's stat line, okay? Legendary Roy, Legendary Marth, Nyla, Veloria, all of these characters are using Ira's stat line, okay? So, just keep that in mind before you just go, she's not that strong. Like, all of these units that are considered top tiers are using her stat line, okay? So, you know, that's definitely worth mentioning. Other than this, she's fairly easy to build, honestly. DC is also a fairly solid choice if you want her to be more like multi-phase. I still don't understand why people consider Legendary Marth and Roy better than her. Game Press, get your shit together. Ira is S+ tier by all means. The only mode she's not great in is possibly AR. And if it's for the dragon effectiveness problem, guess what? Naga exists. Who cares? So, you know. Moving on. This is why I consider Ira to be the best unit. The second best unit is probably Amelia. Very solid unit in general. The only weakness she has is really just her low res. But while that is a problem, when it comes down to speed, she can easily hit 49 speed with just a +6 speed buff. 49 speed at +10. This is attack plus, by the way, not speed plus. So, yeah. Ira, by the way, wants attack plus if you're using her especially in PvP area. If you do not use her in PvP area, go speed plus instead. Speed plus will serve you better in like overall use. That's why I'm still using an Ira with speed plus instead of attack plus, despite having a level 1 attack plus Ira. So yeah, other than that, on the next week, Ninian is decent. Elincia's pretty solid as well, obviously. Like I said, with her weapon being S+ tier when it comes down to refine. Purely because the base of the weapon was already strong. Slapping Swift Sparrow on it just makes it all the more strong. Brave Lucina, like I said, is a fantastic buffer. Nephany is also a very good unit. And Amelia gets rerun a second time as well. Other than this, the rest is kind of forgettable. I guess Azura is a decent dancer. Well, she's not a good dancer by any means, but she is a dancer if you need an extra one. But yeah, other than that, the rest of the units are okay. Obviously, if you really like the units, go for the +10. Don't let me dissuade you, okay? Everyone has their own waifus. Go for it. I'm just saying this based off, you know, a more objective point of view. Now, moving on from the weekly banners to Rocker Siege. So, I'm not going to go through the entire FEH explaining the fuck what this is. I considered, because this mode is very straightforward, okay? And for some reason, the fucking Nintendo Mobile decided to make a video for tips and tricks about this mode. Guys, we're not retarded. It's quite clear you consider your Japanese audience to be smarter than we are, because there's no Japanese trick and tips about this. The West is not a bunch of retard guys. We have a brain. We can use it. Anyway, so let's go in the map itself so you have some kind of representation. So you see this number under a weapon, that's 9. It's a skill proc that requires 9 turns. There's a few. It's a very annoying proc because it allows her to just swap with whatever unit it's attacking and inflict damage to everything around it. There is an easy way to actually deal with this. If you have Witchy Wand, you can completely shut down that special and just wail the fuck up on her for literally no drawback whatsoever. I killed my Halloween Mia just for my Lachesis, purely for that. Honestly, I don't care. I don't like Mia anyway. Well, I don't like Mia enough, I guess would be the thing. I'll probably get a second copy whenever she gets rerun, though. Just because I feel bad, but whatever. So yeah, Witchy Wand completely shuts her down. Another thing is Guard will also make so that you don't get the skill charge. So you can just go all in non-stop. And other than that, Obstruct is really strong, and so is Absorb. The thing with Absorb is you can literally just face tank her and also heal for free, which is definitely welcomed. Obstruct also shuts down Erica from having too much movement, which is definitely welcomed. One issue I have with this is that we already know, right? We already know what unit are going to be the Rocker stage for round 2. These are all the units we're going to have for Rocker stage. Rocker Siege. Here's the issue I have. Instead of 6 unit, it should be 8 unit. And instead of being random fucking unit out of nowhere for no fucking reason, okay? It should be 2 cav, 2 flyers, 2 infantries, and 2 armored units. Because effective against is the key to victory in this mode, honestly. Just basically make so Rocker has also an effect for armored units, which essentially allows them to always have 2 movement to make up for the fact that, you know, they would be a boss. That way it's not too easy or too hard. The reason why I want 2 of each is because obviously we're getting 3, we're getting Klein, Erica, and Claire right now. Kagero, Barst, and Tiki will probably be in the next round, and I'm guessing if there is a 3rd round, it's going to be all 6 of these units at once. And it's just going to rotate between all of them. Okay? So, fair enough. If you have a way to have an effective against for every unit, that's cool. That also forces you to use different team if you feel like it. Which opens quite a few things. And, you know, that way you actually are forced to use different team for different effective against. It's actually a pretty good idea. As is right now, it's just like, well, you better hope it's either Erica or Claire, and then on round 2 I think you need Naga or any dragon killers, because every single other characters you just don't have a weakness unless you're using Poison Dagger in this day and age, which nice joke. So, you know, it's kind of iffy, obviously. Overall, it's still a really good mode. I actually really did appreciate it. It's very nice to see IS realizing that PvP is shit at this point. That they've completely ruined PvP by releasing characters such as Legendary Azura and Legendary Alm, and people are completely sick of AR at this point. So instead of doing more arena mode, they're doing PvE mode. First with the Legion's battle, and now with this. That's great. So far, I have no issue with this mode. Except for one thing, and that's the fact that there's not enough reward. Now, though, before someone points this out, before people gets mad, rather, I should definitely point this out, okay? I know for a fact a lot of people are going to think, man, the rewards are shit. This mode sucks. And to those people I say, use your brain first. Honestly, that would help you a lot. First off, pair up mode works in this mode, so that's cool. The reason why I say use your brain is because they clearly are undershotting this event. They did the same thing with Grand Conquest, where getting to the highest tier was way too easy the first time, because they wanted to see feedback. They wanted to see whether or not, you know, it was too much what they were doing. Because that way they can actually adjust the mode. And by adjusting the mode, they know what to expect from each player when it comes down to score. Like, say, oh, if a round lets you have 10 full 8x round, of course, the reward should be at least 500k, and then they just pile on the reward for all over 500k. So the next Roker stage will definitely be better than what we currently have. It's definitely worth mentioning because a lot of people don't seem to catch that. They're undershotting it so they don't you know, overshot the amount of score that they expect people to do. It's simple. Anyway, with that out of the way, what else is there to say about this? I don't think there's much. It's overall a pretty solid mode. I do hope also, this is something that I've had whenever I was streaming with Sages last, I think. We were doing a, I don't know if it was on the Fed channel reaction or if it was on a Show Me Your Build, but someone pointed out, like, they could just do a mode where your units are resetted to level 1 in that mode, and you do several maps in a row, okay? But not like with multiple break. More like, if you die, your levels are reset, so you can restart. And it would be like several maps in a row, 10, maybe 15. And you would be leveling up through those maps, kind of similar to a Fire Emblem game. That idea to me is really fucking cool. I want something like that. Because PvE is definitely where the game shines most. Because that's where they can make challenges that are not nearly as frustrating as AR can be. So, and also you get to use whatever unit you want. That's one of the problem with AR in Arena. Oh, but I want to use my Ira in New Year Guntra. You can't, it's AR. Using a red sword unit in AR is retarded. You are just going to fail in that mode. Well, that's fun. So, what are the units I have to use? Oh, you have to use Legendary Azure. But Legendary Azure is a shit stain. Well, fuck off. Sucks to be you. You get the idea. It's very restrictive. And Arena is all about points, so of course it's yet again restrictive. That's not to say that it makes the game absolutely dog shit. No, no. Far from it. But it's definitely worth mentioning, because, you know, that's why I like PvE so much. Though abyssal maps, obviously, I can't say that about, but stuff like Rock or Siege, I can use whatever the fuck I want, and that's actually very lovely, lovely even, blah, which is nice. If I want to just go Guntra plus, well, New Year Guntra plus Tiki plus Rayson, I can do that. If I want to just go full on Jam Key breaks the game, I can do that. And that's one of the biggest strengths about PvE, it's a lot more flexible than every other mode. So, yeah. Other than that, I think that I've said my piece, so I'll be seeing you all later. Have a nice one, everyone. See ya.